For Max Convos, I'm LaDonna Lockard. I'm here today with Brian Vieaux. Brian, you are the president and COO of FinLocker. This is kind of our first time meeting, which again shocks me.
Yeah,
We've both been running around this industry for so many years. You've got a little bit of time on me,
just a little bit.
but you just a little, but you are so experienced. You have such a wealth of knowledge about the mortgage industry. You actually helped co-author a book about it. I would love to hear more about that.
Right on. Well, Donna, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And agreed. I don't know how our paths haven't crossed until now. I'm glad they have. And now that they have, I'm sure they will many more times.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Tell me a little bit about Rethink everything you know about being a next gen loan officer. What a title. What a title.
It's a mouthful. We've officially referred to this as the Green Book. My partner in the book, Kyle Draper, he wrote a book called Rethink Everything You Know About Social Media. It's somewhere behind me. It's the purple book. And that's how I met Kyle, was through his book. Somebody sent me the book. I read it, and I was blown away by how actionable it was. And I reached out to Kyle. We had a little LinkedIn engagement going on. I was actually taking excerpts from his book, posting them with my own comments on it. And he messaged me one day. He's like, "I don't know who you are, but," and I thought, "Oh no, I've done something wrong here. What's going on?" And he said, "But your posts are blowing up my LinkedIn. I just want to say thank you." And we did a 5-minute meet and greet that turned into like an hour and a half conversation. And at the end of that call, we both knew we were going to do something together. We didn't know what it was going to be, and it ultimately became what is now this Green Book. And the book was written with the idea that, and we started this process probably a little over a year ago, writing it. We published it in March of 2024. And the idea was the market's different, right? It's a different market. And it's not just different from a market perspective. The buyer, especially the first-time home buyer, is different. This generation, this next generation of home buyer, thinks differently. They react differently. They learn differently. And therefore they have to be talked to and sold differently. And by the way, they don't want to be sold, right? And so
Yeah.
the working title at the time was Rethink Everything You Know About Serving the Next Generation Home Buyer. And that turned into what we titled it when we published. But both Kyle and I knew we were not experts in originating loans and certainly connecting with, this next generation home buyer. So we decided early on this was going to be a collaborative effort. And we were blessed and really just grateful to have 37 people say yes to a crazy request. And 37 people wrote a chapter for this book. And what I'm most proud about is how often I hear lenders, leaders, and loan officers reference the book as something they use on a regular basis to either generate or reinforce an idea in their head. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, that is amazing. And I know you have some really cool authors involved in it. So if you don't already have it, highly recommend it. Pick it up, get it for everyone on your team. It will serve you well. You touched on LinkedIn. This is an area that you excel at. If anyone takes a look at your profile, they're going to know it right away. When did you really decide to kind of dive in on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so I left the primary lending side of the business from an origination production management perspective in 2019. Came to FinLocker. FinLocker was a startup, very limited resources. Nobody knew us. Nobody knew what we did. I came to the business with a decent LinkedIn profile, but and so I kind of leaned into what I had at the time, which was a decent following, like I said. And in end of 2022, going into 2023, I just said I have to go all in. If we're going to grow our business, which means more people have to know who we are, what we do, why we do it. We don't have a big budget for marketing. Where am I going to do this? And I decided LinkedIn's the place. And so in 2023, I kind of went crazy and did like 4 posts every day for the entire year. And then it's backed off. I still post every day, but I'm more focused on conversations that get created off of LinkedIn and engagement. And so I'm a massive believer in the platform. It's more than a resume platform. That's what it started out as. It is, if used correctly, a business development tool. And I think everybody in lending, certainly if you're doing B2B sales in mortgage, but even B2C can work on LinkedIn if you just put your head against it.
No, I love that. You're so right. What would like the one tip be that you would give someone who isn't currently utilizing LinkedIn?
Show up. Show up. Don't overthink it. Everybody's expert in something, and just start writing or talking about what you're expert in. Don't try to sell on LinkedIn. Try to teach. If you lead with teaching, people will follow you. And it's the same for loan officers. I tell loan officers all the time, you're in the teaching and educating business. The loan is a byproduct of that. And if you truly believe it and lean into it, it will do great things for you.
I completely agree. Brian, you are a dream. I have to have you back because we've just scratched the surface and we're already out of time. So come back, join me again. It would be a pleasure.
For sure.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. For Max Convos, I'm LaDonna Lockard.
For more on these and all of today's top stories, go to nationalmortgageprofessional.com.